Good stuff. Right, shall we kick into this?
Let's get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's kick off. All right. Recording there. Recording there.
It's not coming through the earphones, is it?
Right. So you have your headphones in.
Toes in, yeah, we do, but the headphones aren't working. We're hearing you through the. Might be the echo because we're hearing you through the actual phone itself.
Have you got your loudspeaker on? Because if
yes.
you've got that, you switch your loudspeaker off.
Right. Okay. All right then. Is that what it is? You think?
Well, can you hear me now?
Hang on.
Through the headphones.
Have a go.
That's
better. That's
yeah.
Right,
That's
okay.
it.
Okay.
That's why.
Good job.
That's why I could hear myself.
Good job. I just picked that up.
Yeah, because I could hear myself, and I was like, I should not be hearing myself unless you've got your loudspeaker on. So yeah,
right,
the loudspeaker should be off. You should have the headphones plugged in, so you can hear everything just through the headphones.
Yeah, that's better. That's why it sounded muffled because I was hearing. I couldn't hear it.
We had our headphones on. We could hear you. We could both hear you, couldn't we? But it was like
muffled. It's because the headphones were on muffling.
Muffling mode. That's loads better. That's loads better.
Yes, that's normal now. We'll get there eventually.
Yes,
well, it's all a learning curve. It's all a learning curve for me. So I mean, that's something I know another time.
It is a learning curve. That could have been a bit disastrous. Your recording could have been the recording you were making could have been almost useless.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Hello and welcome to Netflix versus Cinema, the podcast that asks that question, Netflix or cinema. Where are you going to spend your money? Which one is becoming more prevalent? Is it worth it going to the cineplexes anymore, or could you just sit at home on your couch and still get the same amount of enjoyment as a cinephile? My name is Tosin and I am recording up near Coventry in the Midlands, and joining me on the Isle of Wight are Sharon.
Hello.
And Sean.
Hiya.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, we're battling on.
We are battling on. Really, we've got husky technic troubles, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Sharon's doing. Well, you said Sharon's doing a bit of a Lauren Bacall impression.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I'm a little bit husky because I've been breathing in cold air all week.
And Sean's learning new tech every day.
Good. Yeah. Sean is learning new tech. Sean is learning how to press record and how not to.
You say it's funny though, isn't it? How things that you think are obvious on a phone. Because I was at a concert earlier in the year, and they were saying, "Put your torches on your phones," and I didn't know how to put my torch on my phone. I've never used my phone as a torch. I use it as a phone. And so the guy who was hosting this concert, it was like in a cafe type place. He said, "Right, we've got a teenager here who can come round all you older people and set your phones up." And she did. She did. She basically went and did every phone. She said, "Okay," because I said I can't do it, and my friend said I can't do it, and then all these other people said, "No, I can't do it either." And so this one, she's like, "We've got a teenager." And so this girl, she literally came around every table in this cafe, setting up people so they could actually show them how to do their torch on their phones.
Wow.
Oh, good lord.
So every time there was a slow song, it was like, yeah, we can use our torches now. That's how technically advanced we are.
We are, yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Good lord. You see now, this thing, I don't think of you as that old, but you're making me have to reevaluate. Although the only thing changing me or stopping me from reevaluating and calling you old is the fact that I feel that very, very possibly I might not be that far behind, having my own experience with that. I have a feeling I might have something to do with Snapchat or TikTok. One of those two.
Oh.
But something will happen that will make me have my own. Oh, I can't be bothered with this technology stuff. Hey, young man,
need a teenager.
Come over here. So,
it's just. I mean, the thing is with the youngsters now, they're brought up with it from when they're little toddlers.
I was in my 20s before I had a mobile phone,
yeah.
So it's like, you know, I want to talk on it. I don't want to do anything else on it.
The first, I think I've probably had this conversation many times. The first thing I remember as electronic is a massive big Casio calculator with just the basic functions on.
Yeah,
the
that's the
four
size
basic
of a stereo. Yeah.
It was, yeah. It was like these laptop computers almost, and it was like, and I was so chuffed this Casio thing that I got for Christmas, you know, and I could go, oh look, and I could make naughty
could
words
spell
like
words
hello,
with it.
yeah,
Yeah, if you
like,
turn
put
it upside
down and.
I remember when I was young, growing up in Nigeria. You were the height of cool if you had yourself a graphical calculator.
Oh,
Yeah, it could
A graphical
plot graphs
one. What's
and
a graphical
everything.
one? Oh right,
It's
okay.
Yeah, like you could actually put in a formula and it would plot a graph for you. Like it would come up. It was probably about the size of probably about the size of well, bigger than an iPhone. Let's say, like, you know, one of those really, really big phones, like Samsung
Yeah.
Galaxy something plus. It was about the size of that, but it had, like, you know, the keyboard and it had all the sort of scientific things, but then it also had a button you could press and it would plot you a graph. That was it.
wow.
I tell you what, Tosin, though, I bet you never used logarithm tables, did you?
Oh, no,
to find
totally
out
used
codes.
logarithm tables.
You had that little booklet with
Yeah,
all the.
we had the
Do you remember
booklet, we
them,
had the
Sham? Do you
booklet in
ever use them?
Nigeria.
Cosine, sines, and tangents. And
Probably.
Yeah, code size,
Probably
size,
we
tangents.
did.
You had to go along the column and along the row and then move it along the.
That's it.
the
That's
other
it.
one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we
Well,
totally used that.
That's like ancient, isn't it?
I talk about old tech
see-
though. When I was in the police service, we used to have when we ever had a partial number plate, there was a thing called the Goalie's Guide, and basically, if you had the beginning of a number plate, you had this book that would match up all the possibilities. So if you had like 3 digits from a number plate, the Goalie's Guide would give you all the possibilities that it could be. And so you had this book, so you had like a cross-reference between how many letters you had and how many numbers you had, and then you had to marry them up physically
And that would
by
get you the
working
car.
out. And then
Yeah.
you could do a couple of tests, you could do a couple of searches, and you would normally find it. If you had 3 or more numbers, you could find a number plate
wow.
by using the Goalie's Guide, but that's like old tech.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to sit there with a ruler to get the sort of line up all the
lines,
lines.
yeah.
Okay, you know, now if there's
That's old
anybody
tech.
anybody under the age of 20 listening to this, they're going to be like, "What the heck? I showed up for the movies." They said
Yeah,
Netflix.
yeah.
This isn't tech. Netflix is tech.
We better get on.
Okay, but also joining us this week, and we're going to try this. This is the first time we're going to try something like this, in which we're going to bring somebody other than the three of us into a live, this isn't live, but like essentially we'll be talking to us. So we have 2 locations. We have Coventry, we have the Isle of Wight, and now we're going to try and bring a third location in, and we're going to try and bring in London.
Oh.
This may
London.
Yes. We have
the
a good
smoke.
friend and a good listener, Holly Nesling, and we're going to try and bring her in. And this might just make this technology thing last even longer. But let's see what happens. Let's see if it works. We're calling her now.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to commune across the airwaves.
This would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe we could have like a whole new.
We could have like relays
I
of
think we are
people all around the
spiritual
world.
sisters anyway because we both like shark films.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I'm fully expecting there to be a period. I think we have Holly. Do we have a Holly?
Yes, I'm
Oh,
here.
do we have? Oh, we have liftoff.
Hi. Hi, Ollie. How are you?
Hello. Good. How are you guys?
Yeah, good,
Yeah,
thanks.
we're good, thank you.
Excellent.
I see we're communing mentally about all the shark films that we've known and loved over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, they are. They are. things
Someone
to
said
do.
that.
So
Absolutely.
Yeah, do you know, it's so weird. I just got to say this. Sorry, Toes. The girl's talking about sharks. Today, randomly, about lunchtime, in the thing, someone said, "Oh, I watched Jaws on the other day," and we had this conversation about Jaws, about real shark attacks, surfers, and all that. Isn't that bizarre? And now you mentioned about
Sharks, eh?
So it must have been a, preemptive.
I think Sharktopus is a modern classic. Personally.
I have to admit, not seen that one.
okay, all right, okay,
It's
cool.
Sharktopus. It's half shark, half an octopus.
Oh, all right, guys, we have
50% shark, 50% octopus, 100% deadly.
Okay, we have a bit of a delay, so we're gonna have to be a little bit. What's the word? A little bit.
Pawsy.
Yeah, civilized about this. So
Civilized.
essentially, if somebody asks a question, I think we'll have to make it clear who we're asking the question to, and then giving a little bit of space for that person to sort of respond. I think we might. So
Okay.
well,
You can be the anchor man. You can be the anchor man then, Toes.
that's what
Well, you are the anchor man.
being Ron Burgundy has always been my life ambition.
That's it. Yeah.
All right, cool.
You can
So,
try herding cats too.
but first, Holly, hello, welcome to the actual podcast.
Why, thank you.
So, how has it been? You have come in the middle of a conversation where we're talking about old tech and how we don't use things anymore because we had a little bit of problem recording, and Sean couldn't figure out something on the phone, and Sharon was talking about being called an old person at a concert, and then we ended up talking about logarithm tables, and I thought we need to get Holly in here as soon as possible because if not, we might never actually start talking about films. So, how has your film watching life been in the last week?
So 2 films in the last week. Last Friday saw Last Christmas, followed by Le Mans 66.
For a second there, I thought you actually...
Hey, we've got a clean sweep.
We have got a clean sweep. Everybody has seen the first 2 cinema films that we are going to be talking about this week. So, and also, okay, one thing that I wanted to ask, something I wanted to ask, which is something that Holly and I got into on Twitter because Sean and Sharon, I mean, talking about new technology. You guys are not on Twitter.
No.
Well, I have got a Twitter account,
Yeah,
but I haven't used it.
I've got no idea what to do. I get these things come up and says, so like you and everyone else, and I'm like, oh right, okay.
I haven't logged in the last. I think I joined in about 2005, and I've only sent 1 tweet, and I don't know what my password is anymore. No, my friend was in.
Was it something like hello?
No, it was more specific than that. I only joined because a friend of mine was in a hurricane zone, bizarrely, and he said the only way you can contact me is by Twitter because we won't have any electricity or any power. And I used to just email him. And so I sent 1 tweet saying, is everything okay? That was it. Are you still there? And he was, so that was fine.
Okay,
yeah.
You know,
I've watched mean tweets from like sometimes on YouTube. There's Jimmy
that can be
Kimmel
quite
mean
funny,
tweets.
yeah.
Some of those can be quite funny, I think. But as for you, I haven't got a clue.
Sharon, you know that there's probably an urban legend about your Twitter account now. Somebody is like, this lady called Sharon, she sent 1 tweet saying, is everything okay? And nobody ever heard from her again.
That was it.
You might have thousands of followers.
I did have followers at one time. I have no idea who they were. I think I've only logged in twice on Twitter.
Okay, all right, okay. But getting back to what it was that we were talking about on Twitter. So it was because on the Netflix Cinema account, I put something along the lines of the fact that the Emperor is in the new Star Wars movie is the one thing that has making me so not excited about the Rise of Skywalker. Which, because we're getting towards the end of the year, we're getting towards that point where people are just sort of churning stuff out and it's supposed to be the big hitters. So Rise of Skywalker is coming up and I just thought it's making me so not excited. And Holly, you replied.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You're excited about the new Star Wars movie.
Yes.
So I thought I'll put it to everybody else. Sean, Sharon, are you guys excited about this?
I have to say my excitometer is barely in the green, I have to say. I'm not in the excitement zone at all at the moment.
All right. For me, I'm sort of pretty nonchalant. I'll go and see it and I'll give it a chance. But
your expectations aren't high, are they?
My expectations are not high. No, they're not high. But so I guess you say I'm not excited about it. I'm just nonchalant. It's one of those films that I would see. I would go and see another.
I am interested to see it. I want to see it because Star Wars, when it was later rechristened A New Hope, was the first film I saw at the cinema. So I haven't seen all of the Star Wars films at the cinema. I missed the weird trilogy that they did in the middle. I watched those. Yeah. So I have since seen them, but it took me a long time to see Revenge of the Sith. About 9 years or something. So I am looking forward to actually finishing off the series at the cinema and seeing. I saw the first one there, and I've seen the last. I'm going to see the last one there.
Yeah, that's it really. For me, I hated whatever it was called. What was it called? The Force
Last
Awakens
Jedi.
Or Last Jedi. Well, yeah, that was.
Oh, but that's the first trilogy, The Force Awakens and. No, I don't know.
Yeah, these new ones.
The latest one.
The latest
The Force
ones.
Awakens and The Last Jedi.
Yeah, hated them with a passion. But I did really, really love. You know what I love, Tozen, don't you? Because I told you. And it's my favourite. Yeah, Rogue One is my favourite Star Wars.
Oh, Rogue One.
And I quite like.
Yeah.
And I actually quite like Solo. I know it got a bit of a slating, but I actually quite liked Solo.
Yeah, I didn't mind Solo.
Whatever that is.
How about you, Toes? What's your take?
Are
on
you
all this?
excited?
Oh, you've already told us you're not excited.
Well, the thing is, like,
Because of the Emperor.
Well, yeah, essentially, and this is what I was explaining. And Holly, after this, we'll let you have the floor, and you can tell us. You can try and get all of us old fogies excited about Star Wars. But it's
the same age.
What?
Remember, we're the same age.
I do know we're the same age, but you have this sort of like almost puppy dog excitement about Star Wars that I just cannot muster. I feel like, essentially, compared to you, I feel like the old man in Up. I feel like I just want to attach a whole bunch of balloons.
Actually, I see there's a bit of a resemblance now, Sharon, isn't there?
Something about the eyes.
Yeah.
I just want to attach a whole bunch of balloons to my house and float away and ignore the fact that this film is coming out. But okay, so I would my point of view, or my take on it, is that when they announced that they were going to make new Star Wars films, when Disney bought Lucasfilm, I was massively, massively wary. I was like, oh my God, what the heck? What are you doing? Don't do it. Don't touch this. Just no. Then The Force Awakens came out. I saw some of the trailers and I was like, okay, maybe they know what they're doing. I saw the film, and now the film is, as we have said before on the podcast, is a total rehash of A New Hope. It is essentially the same film, again, updated with a couple of new characters, but pretty much the same old characters and all that kind of stuff. And so after watching that, I was like, okay, fine. They know what they're doing. They understand Star Wars. But if the next film ends up being a total rehash of, let's say, Empire Strikes Back, I'm going to be massively disappointed. And that is why one of the things I really, really like about The Last Jedi, besides, I think it has quite a few flaws, but besides all of its flaws, one of the things I really like about The Last Jedi is the fact that it does not just rehash an old story and sort of warm it up and serve it to you as some sort of lukewarm rubbish. Then when they showed the trailer for this Rise of Skywalker, and it ends with the Emperor's cackle, I'm like, what? For goodness, do something new. Stop bringing old people back. You told us he was dead. Why isn't he dead? Why is he still cackling? Why is that laugh back? And I'm hoping that they're going to do a rug pull. I'm hoping it's going to be a total massive rug pull. And you're going to watch the film and it has absolutely nothing to do with the Emperor. It's not as big a deal, or it's somebody pretending to be, or something like that. But the fact,
or Obi-Wan might come back in the flesh.
No. Dead. I'm sorry. Okay, but you can see how I feel.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'm like, no, let people die. If they're dead, let them stay dead. And that's one of the things that I did not like in The Last Jedi, where it seemed to say, hang on, death means nothing. And this is the problem I have. It's a bit like Terminator Dark Fate that we spoke about, I think last week or the week before, when I said the problem is that it shows you that it's just going to be the same thing over and over and over again. It can't really escape from its past. And I feel like that's the problem with Star Wars. It's like, it's as if they're saying all the good stuff that is ever going to happen in Star Wars is stuff that you've already seen. So we're just going to give that to you again because we can't come up with anything new, which I find wrong. And that in a nutshell is why I am not looking forward to The Rise of Skywalker. I will still watch it and I will still contribute to its overall growth, but that is why I'm not looking forward to it. So, Holly, make me happy. Turn me into a believer.
I'll try. I think it's the feeling of needing closure and finally seeing everything come full circle. Because the episodes 1, 2, and 3, well, 1 in particular, were dreadful, and it needed some redemption, and I think that the latest, 2 so far, have definitely. Even I agree about the fact that it does feel quite a lot like some rehashing, but it's the closure, and that's knowing exactly what happens, how it's going to turn out. And I know I sound like an excited small child about it, but I love the idea of actually seeing where it's all going to end up.
But it looks like it's going to end up where it all started. They're just
That is possible. And that may be disappointing in some ways, but also at least then we'll know. So I've already got my tickets booked.
I think my friends booked me tickets to go and see that, because apparently they're doing like the three.
Oh, are they the final trilogy?
Yeah, I doubt I'll see that, but that'd be too much. But no, I think what it is with the films, was so disappointed is, I think what killed it for me was Luke, because I don't think Luke would have given up. You know, Luke Skywalker, when Rey goes to find Luke Skywalker, Which one was that? Was that
That was in the last
that's
film,
just
Last
like the Force
Jedi.
Awakens.
I think even Mark Hamill said, Luke wouldn't do that. And then they had that silly the Book of the Jedi, which was like a tiny little thing that got, and it's just like, and then he was milking those sea creature things, like sea cow getting the milk, and it's just like, and then at the very end you had that little boy, like the Mary Poppins thing with the. Sorry to give spoilers. I'm sure everybody's seen it. What he does with the witch's broom.
If anybody hasn't seen The Last Jedi, it's too late now.
Yeah, it's too late. So I'm going to give. It's my spoiler rants. I'm going to do that. I've already done about 3 on my phone. So spoiler rants. So I'll have to give them in because, it was just that was just an awful. Well, they were both of them awful. Really. But then again, I loved Rogue One. Where's Admiral Radish? He's already gone. That crew. That was great. That was old style. But I think what was happening with the Star Wars thing, just going to say this, Toast, is I think they're trying to appeal to a whole new younger audience, and I did feel that the latest ones have been very, very Disney with some of the creatures and some of the things, for the merchandising. So my impression was, okay, all these old fogies, they've had all their time. Let's try and do it for a younger audience. So for me, the new Star Wars films are for a whole new audience.
Or you say that, but then they're bringing everybody back from the old ones. If it's for a whole new audience, come up with a new bad guy. We do not need to see the Emperor. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's cool.
I feel quite strongly about this.
Toes, we are going to have a rant show. We must do a rant show with loads of spoilers in, because that would be so cool.
Well, we're gonna do an episode of this, and we're just gonna call it "And Another Thing."
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
Sorry about that. Sorry about my rant.
Okay, before we go, all right, cool. But this is just what I just wanted to think. If you're listening to this, let us know on Twitter. Let us know: are you looking forward to the new Star Wars movie? Are you looking forward to Rise of Skywalker? Are you kind of a bit all over it right now? Are you all about Marvel nowadays? Or maybe you share with Martin Scorsese and you're like, this is all not cinema. I'm going to sit down somewhere and rewatch Goodfellas for the 15th time. But maybe that's you. We don't know. But anyway, Holly, I just sent you a message on WhatsApp. Did you get it?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I have got the message, but I'm not sure if I can physically achieve that, but I will try.
All right, cool. If you can, great. If you can,
yeah.
That does sound.
Trying to do?
That does sound dodge. That does sound dodge. I will leave that.
City all the way. That is.
I'll leave that up to. I'll leave that up to all the listeners' imagination. Put it write it on a postcard. What do you think Tosin has asked Holly to do? But. All right. Anyway, okay. Let's crack on. And before we crack on, we're going to say something quick because I think we haven't even really we've been going for about 20 minutes now. We haven't even talked about a film.
20 minutes, yeah.
We've talked about 20 minutes, and we haven't really given Sharon and Holly a chance to shock movie it out. But I'm just gonna go quick thing.
Next time.
Yeah. Ooh, next time. Holly, you hear that? Yeah,
I did.
Next time they like you. You're they like you. You're
in the gang.
Yeah.
You're in the gang.
We might have to have a serious discussion about Star Wars, though.
Yeah.
I think we're a bit like an aging Scooby gang because I look a little bit like Thelma.
That is true.
Shawnee's got a bit of the aging Fred about him.
Am I Freddy or am I Shaggy?
And you want to be Shaggy?
I don't know. If you want to be Toes, you can choose.
So you'll have Holly, you'll have to be Daphne, you'll have to be the glamorous one.
I'm not feeling terribly optimistic about that today, it has to be said.
Sorry, Holly, how far away are you from your phone?
Not very far.
All right, cool. Okay, cool. It just sounds a little bit muffled. But
that's possibly because I've got it on speakerphone and I'm wandering around.
Okay.
Because I'm incapable of not doing that.
All right. Okay. Cool. All right. It's as close as you can get it, and if you can sort out the thing with the iPad, that'd be great. Oh, another phone. Another phone. Ooh.
But I only have the one phone.
Oh, all right. Cool. No tablets.
I do have a tablet.
Yeah. Could you try it on a tablet, or do you have a computer? I know the plot thickens. The plot thickens.
Yeah, it does indeed. This is like a whole movie. Is this a screenplay for a new movie? Is it?
Not a very good one.
Oh, that's right. Avant-garde cinema.
All right, cool. All right, let's. But first of all, I'm going to talk about superfan Nina, who is getting almost. We're almost getting a weekly story from superfan Nina of something that she's done in relation to the podcast. So she sent me messages saying, "I did a weird thing today. I was listening to your podcast on the tube. I hear the buzzer because now we have the 7-minute thing and we have a 7-minute buzzer for a film. It's like I hear the buzzer and she gave someone a death stare because they thought they were making a loud noise on the tube."
Wow.
And then later she realized, oh no, it's what I'm listening to, and now she feels guilty.
That breaches tube etiquette. From the few times I've been on the tube lately, I think that does breach tube etiquette, doesn't it?
Well, looking at somebody
giving someone a Paddington Bear hard stare on the tube is a no.
Yeah, that's
something dreadful.
So what was that? What's that, Holly? What's that, Holly?
Unless they've done something dreadful, in which case it's fine. You're allowed to then.
Oh, okay.
But don't talk to them. Whatever you do, for goodness sake, do not talk to them.
On about movie screenplays, I know this is going to sound really, really random, right? I got on a train to Woking once to meet someone, right?
Yeah.
And everybody was looking so miserable. It was going from London to Woking. I started singing, and they all smiled. I did. I just burst into spontaneous song for some weird reason. So it would have been great in like one of those Enchanted movies or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Did they want? No
nobody
one
looked at
joined
me.
in.
They just all looked at me and thought, "What a weirdo!" I think, but I didn't mind.
So let me guess.
Sorry about that.
Let me guess. The further away from London you got, the more they smiled.
Yes, exactly. So it's funny if you look, I mean, it must have been, I guess, because I've never really done that trip or used that trip before, but everybody looked so miserable, And yet, I thought, well, I'm going to make them smile. I don't care about this. I don't care what people think. They're either going to smile or like cringe, but at least they might grimace. Yeah.
Sean, I don't mean to sort of like put your singing down or anything like that, but the proximity to London might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, because there's a friend of mine who lives on the island, Robin Wilson, and he pretty much he refers to it as, well, he refers to everything that is in the Isle of Wight as Mordor. But but
I can agree with that.
Case. All right. Anyway, I had a whole bunch of things we're going to talk about, and we don't have time for any of that because this is going all over the show.
We need to set the buzzer.
Yeah.
Set the buzzer, Toes, and we'll do the first film.
Let's get on a film.
Let's get out to the films. So is everybody ready?
Yes.
Indeed.
Okay,
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Good stuff. Okay, so
Position 1 is in position. Position 2 is in position.
Now let us kick off with cinema. Let us start off with cinema, and we're gonna kick off with Last Christmas. Now this is the opening salvo of Christmas movies. I think so far this year we haven't really had any sort of mega Christmas movies or anything like that. So Sharon, would you like to give us a really quick synopsis of what this is about?
This is about a young woman called Kate who lives in London and works in a year-round Christmas shop. She has lost her Christmas mojo and she is not feeling the joys that she once did, and we find out through the course of the film that's because the previous year she'd had a health crisis and ended up having a heart transplant, and since her heart transplant she just hasn't felt herself, and so she is trying to fill that gap in her life with drinking, with sort of casual encounters with men, with doing everything she possibly can to sort of fill this emptiness that she feels inside her. And then she meets this young man called Tom, and things start to take a turn for the better for her. How's that?
That's about it. Yeah, that is very good. That is very good.
That was really, really good. Especially the encounters was really excellent. Yes.
Random encounters with men.
Yeah. Give me a fist bump. Nice one. Bang.
Okay, so Holly, seeing as this is you, okay, you are a listener to the show. You are an avid film goer. You are, as you keep pointing out, the same age as me. I don't think you should tell people that. People start figuring out how old I am and then figure out how old you are. But, you're on the. Let's give you the first thing. Tell us, what did you think of Last Christmas?
I really enjoyed it. I didn't think it was good, but I thought it was a fun experience. It made me cry a bit, but I have to admit I had spent the afternoon in the pub, so...
So that will do it. Normally that's how they do it. Well, so did you ever see like being on the sofa, I suppose, with the tissues? Is it? Yeah.
Or
It had its
your
moments.
third bar chocolate, possibly. Yeah.
All right.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice film. Now, Steph, my cinema buddy, was absolutely horrified by it and needed to get nachos in order to recover from the trauma.
Okay, so what did you like about it that Steph didn't?
We never really got round to discussing that on the basis that we were rushing into our next film. I think it was that it was
double
that
bill.
it was sweet. There was a niceness to it, and the sort of the feeling of unsurprisingly redemption, as one would expect.
Yep.
It has I thought it was sweet. I know that sounds so twee.
Saccharine.
It sounds like damning with faint praise. Yeah.
But it was. I think saccharine is the right word. It was a bit saccharine, but that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're going for a Christmas film. And at least it wasn't Love Actually. So
You see
that on its side.
It's funny you should mention that. It's funny you should mention that because the director of the film, Paul Feig, is a massive Love Actually fan. He's
really?
Yeah, he's such a big because I subscribe to Empire Movie Magazine, and he's such a big fan of it that they gave him a chance. They had this whole feature where they had a director to interview a director of their choice, and they said, Paul Feig, which director do you want to speak to? And he's like, Richard Curtis. I want to speak to him about how he made Love Actually, because he's a massive Love Actually fan. And there were bits of this where I could totally see the influence of Love Actually, including, funnily enough, the Emma Thompson bits of it. But all right. So, okay, Sharon, Sean, what did you guys? No, let's be civilized. Let's go, Sean, then Sharon.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it's not really my sort of film, and there hasn't been, as you can gather, there hasn't been a lot on at the cinema really, which is why we've probably all seen the same ones we have.
Yeah.
And it's probably not a film that I would, if there had been other things on, I probably would have gone and seen something else. So I would say, I mean, I didn't think it was particularly brilliant, but then again, it was okay. It was for me, it was an okay film. It was a little bit saccharine, but I did think, to be fair, I thought the acting was quite good from Emilia Clarke. Yeah, I did think she played. I mean, because I saw her when she was in the Terminator film, wasn't she? Recently?
Nobody came good out of that. Nobody came good out.
No, I know, but I mean, it was awful. And I thought
Genesis,
because I've seen her in Game of Thrones as Daenerys, obviously, and I thought, oh no, you were going to be a dud.
I bet you didn't see Me Before You, did you?
No, I didn't see Me Before You. But is she in that? Is she any good? Oh no, that's super saccharine.
Oh yeah, that's a
That's like super
hanky
weepy.
film. Yeah.
No, I didn't see that. But yeah, but I thought she was quite good in this. So she's redeemed herself a little bit in my eyes. So yeah. I mean, all I can say about the film is, it was okay. It's not it's not something. I mean, then again,
Should we put that on the film poster?
You could say okay. That's a horrible word, isn't it? Okay, nice. Yeah, it's okay movie. You know what I mean? It was a little bit. It was alright. So yeah, but then I'm not. I mean, everybody raves about Love Actually, and yet I think that's an okay film. It's the same. I wouldn't.
There's strands that are excellent, but there are also strands that you can fast forward if you watch it on DVD. Thinking, I'm not bothered about that bit.
So many people watch it again and again, and I don't think it's one of my films that I think is one of my overrated films. That's my opinion.
Okay, all right, okay, cool. So Sharon, what did you think of Last Christmas?
Well, I have to say my response is slightly lukewarm about it.
Yep.
There's aspects that I did appreciate, and other aspects that I just thought were laying it on a bit thick for my taste. So I thought the guy Henry Golding, who played Tom, I thought he was charming. I thought he played that role very well. I think Kate as a character, didn't love her, I have to say, and so because you really need to identify, or you really need to root for the main
the real main protagonist, I didn't really warm to her terribly. I know that's part of the thing. When you see the beginning of the film, you do see all the worst of her characteristics, and they did that so well that I wasn't that bothered about what happened to her after that. So when she did start to redeem herself, as it were, I was a bit like, oh, good, let's sing a happy song. And so I didn't love it. I was lukewarm about it. But yes, I can see that. Yes, it was.
It was okay.
It was okay. To quote the poster, I think it was okay, yeah. But I didn't love it, and it's not a film I would sort of enthuse about, or it's not a film I would think, oh yes, let's watch that one if we're going to watch a Christmas film. I think, it's not going to be up there with Alf, is it? Let's face it. So I think it's an all right film. You haven't seen Alf?
I've never seen Alf. Sorry.
Okay, all right, cool. So
what about you?
What I thought about this film. Now, I think this film, it's admirable. Essentially, I'm gonna come off first of all and say this is a 3-star film. It is the most 3-star of 3-star films I think it can get, and it's admirable that it just tries to tell a nice simple story straight down the middle. There's no sort of like ironic thing. There's no postmodern thing. There's no meta thing. There's nothing. It's just kind of like, oh, we're gonna try and tell a nice Christmas movie. A nice Christmas story, which means, and with that being the case, it can feel a bit like, an EastEnders Christmas special or something like that goes a little bit out there, because there isn't really much. Essentially, Sharon, your synopsis was quite short, and that's because there isn't really much in there. You can kind of guess where the film is going, because you can. I mean, and talking about putting things on the poster, there's something that they put on the poster that kind of clues you in before you even watch the film as to exactly what's going on. And when the trailers were released, there were a whole bunch of theories as to what this film was, and I'm not going to tell you which ones were, but some of them were just bang on the money. And a big deal was made about the fact that the film is called Last Christmas, which is the name of a Wham song, and the fact that this film was inspired by the songs of George Michael, and the songs of George Michael do appear throughout the film, but I feel like they are so rubbish the way they're used. They don't fit into the film whatsoever. There is no reason for them to be there. They just go, we need to go from one scene to another. Yeah, put Waiting for That Day on. Yeah, that'll work. Oh, we need to go from one scene to another. Oh, Jesus to a Child. Oh, yeah, that's it. And it's like, I'm like, why did you use the song like that? That was just rubbish. So the whole big thing about the film was, that they said, inspired by the songs of George Michael and Wham. That's rubbish. I mean, it's just not used at all. I agree that
it's not used well.
Yeah, it's not used well. It's really, really not used. It's used in a way that made me think, why did you bother? You've actually made the film worse by putting that in there. And I agree with you. The performances are good. I think Henry Golden's really, really good. So people have been complaining about the chemistry between both of them, but I feel like that's actually what they were going for in the film. I don't think that they were particularly going for bang on chemistry. I think that there was something that they were trying there. And the other thing, and there's a scene in it where Henry Golden does a Bond impression. He does a Sean Connery impression to be more on the money. And there's an online campaign to get Henry Golden to play James Bond when Daniel Craig finishes. and when they did that, I was just kind of like, oh, I see what you're doing. So for me, it's a 3-star film. I don't want to say much more about it, about the nature of the fantastical or fairy tale or whatever nature that might be or might not be happening in the film. Don't want to say anything about that. But yeah, 3 stars for me. How about you guys? How many stars?
It's a 3 for me.
I think that's for me as well. 3-star. Just a 3-star movie. So yeah. So
it's a clean sweep.
That is a clean sweep. So that must be a proper 3-star film.
It's a 3-star film.
Yeah.
That's got
a proper one. A proper 3-star. There's no ifs or buts on that one.
No ifs or buts or anything like that. But as I said, I think they weren't trying to make anything amazing. I think they were trying to make a nice Christmas movie. And as we've all said, they've made a nice Christmas movie.
Yeah, did what it said on the tin.
Yeah,
it did. It was okay.
It was okay, and not more than that. Just okay. All right, cool. Cool. Now let's go over. Now, as I said, this is the first Christmas movie that we've had. It's the first Christmas movie that we've had in cinemas that we've actually reviewed. But Netflix have been in on the game for a while. I mean, last year, for instance, we were inundated with Christmas movies, and seemingly for some reason, starring Vanessa Hudgens. It's like they have a deal that Vanessa Hudgens will star in Christmas movies for Netflix. And Sharon, you decided this week, because you said, I saw Last Christmas, I'm going to go, even the sides up a little bit. And decided to dive into the world of Netflix Christmas movies, which most of them look like they wouldn't be out of place on Channel 5, let me put it that way, in the middle of the day. So, tell us what you saw and tell us what you thought about it, or what it wasn't what you thought about it.
Well, you're not wrong about that. This is called Holiday in the Wild. It's also known as Christmas in the Wild, but I think in some ways it's slightly misleading because it isn't actually. I didn't think it was a Christmas film. I think it has a film with Christmas scenes in it. If you could make that distinction.
Yeah.
It's basically about a woman who's been married for over 20 years, and her son is just going off to university. And as her son is sort of moving on with his life, her husband says to her, "You know what? I don't love you anymore. This hasn't been working for some time, and I'm off."
Old chestnut.
That old chestnut. And so she had booked them as a surprise, as now that there's just the two of us again, let's have a second honeymoon in somewhere in Africa. But they actually are specific, it is in Zambia, so they didn't just do that on somewhere on, because when they first said we're going to Africa, I thought, oh come on, narrow it down a little bit please. And then you see we're in Zambia. It is quite particular to that one particular place.
Okay.
And so she decides.
First of all, two things. Already, this film's already beginning to warm up my heart because they've done that. Number one, and number two, thank you so much for pointing that out, Sharon, because you know about my long-held complaints about the way Africa is represented. Africa is presented on screen.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. We're going on holiday to Africa. Thank you. Carry on. Sorry.
I share that. I share your rage about it, and I'm particularly pleased as well because I lived in Zambia, so I'm now also feeling a little more interested.
Yes, and we have another connection, Holly. My mum's best friend, who is now 86, spent 50 years in Zambia. Oh. So it's one of the few parts of Africa that I have a sort of a little bit about. She was a missionary nurse, so she worked in a mission station there that had a hospital. So it's in a sort of area near to where the mission station was. So I was like, hey, I know that part of the world a little bit. But anyway, she decides that this second honeymoon, instead of scrapping it and sort of having a miserable time on her own, she decides that she's going to go to Zambia and experience their safari, basically. And she goes there, and
don't tell me I can see what's coming. No, sorry.
Quite early on, she's on her first trip out. Basically, her pilot is also part of a wildlife trust where they try to keep an eye out for poachers, and they come across an orphaned elephant, and they take this orphaned elephant to a elephant sanctuary, basically, where they look after elephants. And she happens to be a vet, and so she becomes basically involved in the work of rehabilitating these orphaned elephants. And in many ways, the film is more about the elephant conservation than it is about Christmas, or about their relationship. Actually, their relationship is not the focal point of the film.
Oh wow!
And so when I watched it, I was thinking, we are heading down Hallmark Christmas film territory.
Yeah, I
when the first couple of scenes, you're thinking, oh no, this is turning into Hallmark Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it actually it redeemed itself for me.
Especially because I'm silently watching the trailer on Netflix as we're talking. Especially as the lead is played by Kristen Davis of Sex and the City fame, and the pilot you mentioned is played by Rob Lowe. So the pilot, he's played by Rob Lowe, which is just kind of like hello.
It's just clickbait, really, isn't it?
Can you see what we're doing here?
What is Rob Lowe like a hunky sort of thing then, or what?
Well, yes, he's got that. He wears a hat.
Oh, right, okay.
Sean,
he has a certain swagger.
The trailer has just shown him, as you said that, like with perfect timing, the trailer just showed a scene where he walks into a tent with his shirt off.
Oh, right. Okay.
That only happened.
So he's eye candy then, basically.
Yeah, but he's elevated slightly just above eye candy, because there's no like walks in the moonlight where they listen to the sort of chirrup of crickets or whatever chirrups in Zambia.
Hang on a second. Sorry,
yeah.
Holly, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, as an aside, Rob Lowe's Instagram is excellently trolled by his children. So worth a look just for that. It is deep and funny.
And I don't think he takes himself that seriously, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And in this, there is, I think, this is elevated for me slightly above the standard romantic Christmas film fare that I think we've all become slightly nauseated by over the last few years, because they've just laid on with the trowel, and I think they've held back a little bit. So there is romance in it and there is Christmas in it, but it's not a full-on, it's
not a romance.
Let's sort of slap you around the head with a Valentine's card.
One of those.
And I'm guessing also because it's actually set in Zambia, you're not going to have your white Christmas. You're not going to have your kiss in the snow or anything like that.
No, there's none of that malarkey.
Yeah, because what is it?
Encounter? No, what did you say? That thing?
Well, there's no shenanigans.
No. But what did you say when you were reviewing last?
Casual encounters.
There's no casual encounters.
No, there's no casual encounters on this one.
Oh, that's good.
No, so I think. But I had low expectations of this film. I thought, I'm going to watch it because it's been every time I go into Netflix, it says, you really want to watch this film? It's like, I really don't, but I will. So I watched it, and it was elevated above my expectations. So I would say, again, this was not a straightforward 3 film. This was a 3+.
3+.
But it isn't a 4 film. No. But it's an enhanced 3. Let's put it that way.
All right, okay, especially because I am happy with that, especially because it A, exceeded your expectations, B, it actually mentioned where in Africa they are, and it was probably filmed in South Africa, but steps. We'll go little steps, step by step.
Yeah.
And see.
There is a slight. There is a slight curiosity about this film. Sorry, I keep cutting on you during the pause. There is a slight curiosity about this film. It's because I think it could almost qualify at the moment as science fiction.
Really?
Yeah. Because they show you having Christmas 2019, because they have dates on things. They write dates down, and then they go Happy New Year 2020, and then you see them in July 2020 in the film. So I think it does qualify as science fiction as well.
Time travel.
Ooh, going into the future.
Ooh.
But also because it's set in Africa and it gives you a Christmas that doesn't have snow falling and people kissing in the snow. Okay, fine. Yeah. I hear you. Nina's giving people on the tube an evil stare right now. But
very quickly, it was filmed in South Africa and Zambia.
It was actually more stars. This film, it's heard me complaining all these years, and it's actually doing something about it. Because, and also on my whole thing about snow and all that kind of stuff, because regardless of what Band 8 tells you, there is never snow in Africa at Christmas time. So
Possibly on Kilimanjaro.
Possibly on Kilimanjaro, but majority of people, 95% of people will not. Anyway, sorry, we're about to go into my rant about Band-Aid songs. But
I agree.
Let's move on. Let's move on from that. See, man, I've had a bit of a ranty week. So first of all, Holly, any luck on the thing I texted you about?
Yes, I have successfully been recording myself on my iPad for 20 minutes now.
That doesn't help it sound any less dodgy. But
no, it doesn't.
Okay, so Holly, are you on speakerphone?
Yes, I am.
Oh, for the recording, you might need to turn off speakerphone, because if not, it'll make it a bit difficult if I can hear myself and I can hear you. Trying to cut it out.
Let me see if I can figure out what to do and find a hands-free kit.
Yes. If you can do that, that'll be it.
That I can do. It means, of course, I'm cutting in and out of the picture. I had to go and top my glass of wine up, and all of the very sensible things you do. Okay. I'm very efficient like that.
All right, now you see, Sharon, Sean, this is where we have been falling short. I mean, I'm here sitting in my office with my recorder on a toolbox. I mean, I know I've been in Sean's house. So I know that you guys are probably sat in the dining room, just sort of sat down there. Maybe...
No, we're not actually.
What?
We're huddled around Sean's work desk in his bedroom.
And there's we're in my bedroom.
Oh,
What
good
about
lord!
that, eh?
Oh my
Oh
god!
dear, yeah, no, it's intriguing,
That's a
people.
mental picture.
Yeah, that is a mental picture, isn't it?
We might need to put
Yeah.
an explicit content thing or content thing on this. It's like
Yeah, maybe.
Parental advisory
Maybe so.
notice.
Well, we figured you two were having such an interesting time that we better pitch in so we can keep up with you guys.
okay.
Excellent.
But my point is that Holly has figured this whole thing out, and she's like, glass of wine, and listen to people prattle on. So look, while I swan around my house, what are the cats doing?
Exactly.
What are the cats doing, Holly?
One of them is asleep on the sofa behind me. Say hello, Max.
Hello. Am I
Oh,
saying
Max,
hello?
little-
Are we saying hello?
Yes, Max. Yes, so Max would like to be greeted. Can I get some?
Hello, Max.
Agree?
Hello, Max.
Hello, Max.
What? I've got a mental picture here of Max, quite a big, large grey cat. No, probably totally wrong.
Large, yes. He is tabby and white.
Tabby and white.
I would have banked on Tabby.
Yeah.
And his sister, Callie, is I think asleep under my bed, and she is black and white.
Oh.
And they are both very badly behaved. They both are both large cats. They both weigh 5 kilos.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yes.
Decent size.
Oh,
Anyway.
all right. I'll say hello, Max, and just so you know, you're a cat, Max. Stop being so demanding.
I bet it's great though. Are they affectionate cats?
Oh, very. And I'm not ruling out the possibility that one of them won't come and join in.
Ah, cool.
They like
We'll have a
they
big-
like my video calls for work quite a lot.
Do they purr like if you stroke them? Do they?
Sometimes,
Sometimes,
very selectively. But they do, Callie talks a lot. She comes and finds me, and she says hello, and I'm expected to follow her round the flat to wherever she wants to be, to either give her a stroke or pick her up, so she can climb onto a wardrobe because her legs aren't long enough to jump.
Okay, welcome to Netflix versus cinema versus Tech Watch versus Country File. But all right, cool. This is okay. I'm absolutely loving this. This is so totally freewheeling. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. But we're going to try and talk about films, and we're going to try and talk about Le Mans '66. Now, Holly, we'll give you the lead on this one. You want to just tell us what Le Mans '66 is about?
Very, very, very high level summary. Ford Motors decides that they want to put up their own car to beat Ferrari at 24 Hours of Le Mans in, unsurprisingly, 1966. So,
Yes.
we have a film about doing precisely that, which doesn't sound like it's selling it, but it's a lovely film about, again, it's a lovely film. Lovely is my word of the day, clearly. Again, about sort of redemption and overcoming and all that sort of
And competition
stuff.
and all that competition.
Yes.
And what drives mostly men to do things like, compete in things that are essentially death rockets. All right, cool. Okay, so thank you for that. This is a film that was originally called Ford versus Ferrari, which I think is a better title. But due to copyright law, it cannot be called Ford versus Ferrari in the UK or anywhere in Europe, quite frankly. So it's and if you look up on Google, like when I looked up at my local cinema what films are playing, Google actually still calls the film Ford versus Ferrari. It says Ford versus Ferrari played in Coventry. I'm like, I think you're fine. That's Le Mans '66. So, Sean, what did you think about this?
Well, this is totally. I mean, if you think, I mean, I love the Shelby models. I love the Shelby car company. So, and I thought Matt Damon as Carroll Shelby did a terrific job of this.
Yeah.
I mean, Matt Damon. Loads of people. Matt Damon. Matt Damon, yeah. So, but he was really, really good in this. This is probably one of the best roles I've seen him in.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. Whereas Christian Bale has been one of my favourite actors of all time, I didn't think he was quite up to par in this film. For some reason, I don't know why, but Christian Bale didn't quite. I mean, other films he's been in, like Hostiles and films, he's been absolutely first class. I mean, I'm not saying he was bad, but he just wasn't quite. I don't know if it's if it was the like Birmingham type accent or English accent, but I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. I thought Matt Damon was class, and I love the story and I love the cars. The GT40, classic, would be worth like millions. Funny enough, I saw this on the mainland because I was going to go and watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood again with the extra bits.
Oh yeah.
But the guy who lives next door to my mother, he's really into his cars and that. And I saw Le Mans was out. I thought, oh, and so we went to watch this together so I could pump him for questions. And he was because he's been to Le Mans. He said they must have filmed this at Le Mans and they've just put up old. Because that's exactly what it's like. It's exactly the same with the Dunlop Bridge and everything. And he was telling me all this stuff about it. So yeah, I mean, I thought this was a terrific film myself. I really, really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
Totally immersed. It'd be one that I would watch again. I wouldn't hesitate to watch this again.
Yeah, I found out something about the film this week which made me like it even more. All of the racing in it was filmed for real. There was no CGI in the racing.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I was going to say that as well. No, it is. It's brilliant. It's like Baby Driver. That's why I love Baby Driver because. Toes, I'm going to go on my rant now about car chases in films.
I was actually thinking about this. I was watching the film. I was thinking Sean hates car chases. But what do you think about races? Because this isn't a chase; it's a race. It's a kind of a chase. But what did you think? So go. Rant. Car chases.
Yeah. I loved it about that because you could tell it was all the proper driving. Everything was. There was no CGI. There was no ridiculous cars getting beat to hell and lasting for like 100 minutes in a film. You know what I mean? Just going on, taking all. So no, but listen. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of motor racing in any stretch of the imagination. But when it comes to things like that, I mean, I did like the James Hunt film.
Rush.
That
was particularly. I thought that was particularly good.
Yeah, so that was a good film, and I would put that up there with this. And yeah.
Do you remember the film with Steve McQueen where he did a film about Le Mans?
That was called Le Mans. Le Mans.
Called Le Mans.
Yeah. Steve McQueen stars. Only he could. That's a split screen film. Screen.
Yeah.
That's it. It is because it's like. I mean, that was one of the first films to use. Where the split screen. So you see, and you see the. Like 3 bits, and you've got the wipes and all stuff like that. So yeah, great film. Okay. That's from the trailer. That is Steve McQueen stars. Only he could. So good film.
Okay,
so do you think it's up there with like those sort of motor racing type films?
Yeah, motor racing film. I think it's for a motor racing film because it shows you Daytona. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know about Daytona. I didn't realise Daytona. I knew about the race, but I didn't realise it was a 24-hour race as well. American, so.
Yeah, I think it's one of the best motor racing films ever made, which might not be saying much, but anyway, Sharon.
I haven't actually seen it yet.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Oh,
we're going to go.
I'm the only one. We were going to go to see it, but it's on the Isle of Wight again. It had that weird time-itis thing where it was either at 4:30 or 8:00, and so one was too early and one was a bit too late for in my working week. So not that I work every day. Having my own business, I can choose my own days.
Yeah.
But it would the times were just crazy town. So I haven't actually seen it yet, but it's one I do want to watch.
All right, cool.
And I've heard good things about it, so I'm hoping to catch that. I should have some more time next week. We're having a couple of days off, so I should be able to have a bit of a time to get there during the day.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to say about this. It was in a few of the. It was quite historic for me. It felt quite historically accurate as well for the fact that they had to use British. They had to bring over the British
drivers.
Not the drivers. For the remodel of the vehicles. So I was quite pleased that they acknowledged that.
Yeah.
There's that scene, isn't there, with the big TWA thing.
Where they bring it. They say just off the plane from England. I didn't understand why, but anyway. But I quite like this film. I thought it was a very, very good film, and I think it's one of those boys and their toys films where it's all about a whole bunch of men trying to build something. It's a bit like when I spoke about the current war a couple of months back. It's a little bit like that. It's like it's innovation, but it's the fact that essentially innovation is great when you've done it, but the science of actually making innovation is kind of boring. So it's almost kind of like a procedural of how did they build this car, And I thought that they did really, really well with that to actually keep you engaged. The fact that one of the major set pieces is all about brakes, and it's about the brake assembly, and what do we do if we put the brake assembly in, and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, is it against the rules if we do this? And I'm like, but they actually managed to keep you involved, and I think that's because they focus a lot on the characters. So much so that even though it's a boys and the toys kind of film, the one real female character in the film is played by Katrina Balfe, who plays Ken Miles. That's the Christian Bale character. Plays his wife. It's a bit like when you see a film about like Apollo 13, when they go to the moon and the woman is relegated to the sitting at home and wringing her hands role. There is, just with the nature of the story, there is that in this film, but I still feel like even that character shines. Even she has this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and I mean, I think even back to what you're saying, even the background characters, like the guy with the glasses that says, the guy like all the techie guys and doing all the techie bits. They were, although they weren't a major part of it, it was, and you got the young lad as well.
His son,
yeah.
I was shocked to find out is English. Is a young actor called Noah Jupe. Yeah, because he was in A Quiet Place, and because I was looking at him going, I've seen him before. Oh yeah, he was in A Quiet Place. And then when he started speaking, I was like, that's a really good English accent for an American kid. so much so that I was like, no, this is going to bother me for the rest of the film. I had to take my phone out of the cinema. I had to be that guy. Take my phone out of the cinema. And Wikipedia, Noah Jupe. I was like, oh, he's English. Oh, that explains it. Now I can relax and keep watching the film. Because if not, I would have spent the whole film going, how the heck does an American kid learn to do such a convincing English accent? But yeah, good. Oh, I really, really enjoyed the film. I thought it was really good. I think it goes into the detail of it, but I think it's just so immersive. Like, it just immerses you in this 1966 world, or 63 to 66 world. That I absolutely loved it. I thought it was actually quite affecting. I think the final scenes of the film are actually quite touching. I feel like the Ken Miles character is well, I know that you said you didn't like. I quite like Christian Bale's performance, and I think that the character himself was somebody who I felt endeared to. I wanted good things to happen for that character. So yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. Definitely top end 4 out of 5.
Holly, I know you told us what the film was about, but we didn't ask you too much what you thought about it.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely superb. As you said, I thought the characters were well put together, engaging. The story really did have you, sort of on the edge of your seat, which you wouldn't expect for something, as you say, that's so procedural.
Yeah.
But it managed that. It had pace. It had tension. Yeah, I found the end very, very moving as well. Of course, this was the second film I'd seen that day, and had, of course, as we've already established, spent the afternoon in the pub. So
you're giving the listeners a very, very one-dimensional picture of you. You were in the pub for an afternoon, went to see 2 films. You're now watching around with your cats and wine. Come on.
Yeah.
Doing weird things with your iPad that Tosin has asked you to do. I mean, it's
exactly. It's this is London middle class living for you. I'll have you know.
What did you guys think of John Bernthal?
Oh, Shane from Walking Dead.
Yeah, Shane from The Walking Dead. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know with him. I can't.
He's in Punisher as well, isn't
Punisher,
he?
yeah, that got bad. I could have done Punisher as a thing, but I started to watch it and it's gradually got worse. So I don't know. I don't know with him.
He's also in Baby Driver.
Yeah, I know he's in Baby Driver. Yeah, that's true.
Well,
guilty confession.
Yeah.
I was just going to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying.
Holly, you were saying?
I was just going to say I still haven't seen Baby Driver. I may have to rectify that this weekend.
Oh my goodness!
I'll fix it. I'll fix it at the weekend. I promise.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. You know how like they liked you and you were welcomed back. You might just have messed that up, Holly.
No. Cool. That's cool. Catch up.
It's been on my watch list for ages. It's just that I've been trying to avoid politics by rewatching all of Law and Order SVU. So I've been slightly distracted. It's a really good way of avoiding politics, though. I could recommend it. Watching the gradual reduction fraction of facial expression that Olivia Benson has as the Botox increases.
I did wonder about that. But anyway, so Sean, to answer your question, what do we think about John Bernthal? I think he's really, really good. I think he's one of these actors who can come in and he can give you sort of like dependable Americana masculinity, if you get what I mean. Like he'll just come on, he'll just
dependable.
But he can also be quite brutish, can't he? He can be this brute, but he can show sensitivity as well. So I think he's more versatile.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I'm not saying he's particularly bad, but I mean, my jury's out on him. Really, I can't really.
The funny thing,
I'm not sort of saying that Christian Bale was a bad performance. I'm just saying it wasn't one of his top-notch ones.
Okay, but the funny thing you say about Sharon, you said about John Bernthal being like really, really. What's the word you said? You said
brutish,
versatile. No, you said versatile.
Brutish.
Versatile. I said that as well.
The funny thing is that the first thing I ever saw him in was a half-hour sitcom, like one of those sitcoms like Friends and everything like that, called The Class.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first thing I ever saw him in, and it was a TV show that lasted like one season. It wasn't really that great. It was kind of like Friends light, and I thought, oh, okay. And most of the people in it I'd never seen before, and I saw this John Bernthal guy. I was like, okay, cool, yeah, whatever. The next time I saw him in Walking Dead, I was like, oh, he's taking a step up in the world. The next thing he's the Punisher. I'm like, wait, aren't you that guy who was trying to get laughs in The Class? what's going on here? But yeah, I do think he is quite versatile, and it tickles me that he played a character called Lee Iacocca, who is the guy who ended up taking over Coca-Cola and making Coca-Cola the biggest company in the world. And I think I love the fact that you have all these sort of like little details in the film that they just put it as it doesn't matter what he did at Coca-Cola because he was at Ford at this time. So I quite like the film. So that's all around the thing. Holly, did you say 4 stars?
Yeah, 4 stars.
Okay, cool.
And it's a 4+.
All right, 4.
Yeah. It's a high 4, definitely a high 4.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was actually sitting in the film going, could I give this a 5? Could I give this a 5?
I was the same.
I was like, no. The ending made me almost cry. No, not a 5. It's a 4.
Once it's out on Sky, I'll rewatch it, and I wouldn't be surprised if I upped my rating to a 5. But
yeah,
give it time.
I was thinking it might be a bit too long, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, now we might have to split this podcast into 2.
Yeah. So say time's getting on, isn't it?
Time's getting on. Okay, do we reckon we could do 20 minutes? 4 films, 20 minutes. Cool. Let's do this thing. All right, cool. So now, I could do mine quite quick.
Well, we've done all the ones I've seen, so I'm gonna just say, oh yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, me too. Ditto.
All right. Okay. Cool.
Right.
So now we go back to Netflix. So we're going to talk about a TV series called The Politician. So on the show, we have some rules. If we're going to see a TV series,
I've seen it.
You've seen I thought you might have. I thought you might have seen The Politician. So it's like, and if we're going to talk about a TV show, we have a couple of rules, which is like if we're going to talk about it, we have to have seen the entire season. B, it has. Well, that's really it, isn't it? Yeah, we have to have seen the entire season. And so I watched the entire season.
Yeah, with the series, yes.
Yeah, with the series, yeah.
So, for the first time, you can't be watching it. It's got to be
it's got to be something you've watched.
One viewing.
Yeah, something you've watched for the first time. And number 3, this is a Netflix original. So The Politician. It stars Ben Platt as a guy who's in high school. And this is a guy, from the first scene of the show, you are let into the fact that he believes that his destiny is to be the president of the United States. So he has done everything. He has studied all the presidents and what happened and how they made it to the White House. And he has sort of done an average and said, 95% of presidents were the high school presidents. So I am going to be my high school president. That is my destiny. I will become high school president, and then I'll go into the next thing, and this will end up with me in the White House. And he just has this burning desire, this sense of entitlement or a sense of entitlement or sense of destiny that this is going to be my thing. So he has to become high school president. And the whole first season is largely about his campaign to become high school president in this school it's kind of weird, but it's kind of like an upmarket. If you think Beverly Hills 90210, I don't think you'll be that far off. It's like an upmarket school, people drive like convertibles to school and all that kind of stuff. And it's all about the kind of different things that they do. It's pretty much if you think of a political campaign but put into a high school. There's bits of this that made me think that it was like if you've ever seen House of Cards, the American House of Cards. it was like House of Cards season 2, but set in a high school. and so he has like he has like he has a campaign team who are with him, and they're like, yeah, we're going to follow you all the way to the White House, and they're doing things like they're checking and going, oh, we've polled everybody, and you have a 95 patch, you're 8 points in the lead in the race, and this is for the high school president thing, and it's that is the general idea. Holly, what did you think of it?
Really enjoyed it. Thought it was relative fluff,
Yep.
but very much enjoyable relative fluff.
Yep.
It had some good twists and turns to it. It stars Gwyneth Paltrow as
his mum.
Who's rather wonderful actually.
She is really
and
good.
I didn't think it's the sort of thing I would be saying about Gwyneth Paltrow, in all honesty. But she absolutely aced this slightly bizarre character. It's a little bit surreal.
Yeah.
I found it deeply funny. I've recommended it to a lot of people as being a very enjoyable binge watch, and I think I watched it in about 24 hours. Just sort of sat down and pushed it. I was having
it's only 8 episodes, so it's pretty cool.
I did over the course of I think 36 to 48 hours. I watched all of that and all of Unbelievable. It was
wow.
I got contrasting style and content.
Yes.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Probably give it a 3+.
Okay.
Could even push it up to a 4 depending upon my mood.
Yeah.
But definitely recommendable. Good, let's say, good twists, good turns, well constructed. The characters are caricatures.
Yeah.
But that makes them very enjoyable caricatures, and it is more than a little ridiculous, and has lined itself up beautifully for a second series.
It has,
which I'm itching to watch and want to know when it's out. So I'd say it stands on its own 2 feet.
Well, okay, yeah, I would agree with everything that you said there. I would agree with everything you said there about the show, because it's created by Ryan Murphy, who is the same guy who created Glee, American Horror Story, American Crime Story, or is it American True Crime, whatever that show is called. And you can see
and Scream Queens.
Scream Queens, yes, he did Scream Queens as well. And whenever you see a show of his, you expect that sort of heightened reality. Some would say camp, a certain amount of camp to be in his shows, which he does not disappoint on. And he also, and I think that in this show, he has created a world that isn't quite true to reality, but I think it's the kind of world that he would like to live in. So he's created a world in which it's set in Santa Barbara, and there's this upmarket school, and it looks like an upmarket school, but it's a kind of school where kids who drive European convertibles to school, like, I don't know, let's just say a Maserati or something like that to school, go to the same school as a kid who comes from the wrong side of the tracks and walks and takes the bus to school. It's like, and I don't think that there's that many schools where you have like that sort of like high level of rich person and that level of person who's living below the breadline coming to the same school. He's created a school in which the principal is a black deaf woman, and I'm just kind of like, I don't think that would happen. A black deaf woman wouldn't be the principal of like a really, really high. So it's a heightened world, but I think he's used that heightened world to say a lot of things about politics, the way politics works, and the way it sort of like goes into people. And what is it about certain people who feel that they're supposed to be in power? Where do they get that from? Why is it so important to them to be in power? And you have a lot of scenes where they're asking this about the character whose name I've totally forgotten, Peyton, where it's like, why is it so important for him to be in character? But I think the characters in this film, in this show, are crazy. They're mad. They're all over the place, and it's just funny. And it has Jessica Lange showing up.
How many stars are you going to give it, Toes? If we got to crack on, mate.
We got to crack on.
How many stars?
I'm going to give it a 4.
You're going to give it a 4. Yeah.
So okay. All right, cool. And that was
the only thing I'd ask was, just by looking at the trailer and the pictures, I haven't seen it obviously. I'm getting a little bit of a Wes Anderson vibe, a little bit of a Rushmore vibe. Would you say that was? Is it there?
There's elements of it. There's a very, very sort of like tiny element of it, but it isn't massively. Oh, sorry. There we go. Time's up.
Time up.
Yeah, but
Time up. Oh, right, okay.
it is. There's a little bit element of it, but it isn't massively Wes Anderson-y. It's its own thing. But I can see exactly what you're talking about with that. But it's its own thing. Oh yeah, because it's also.
I'm gonna have to put a plug in. I'm gonna have to charge up something. So,
Okay, cool.
Sorry,
cool.
mate.
No problem.
Okay.
No problem.
That looks promising anyway.
Okay.
While you're charging.
I think
Yeah, go ahead, Holly.
I'll just say I'll actually amend my score to a 4 as I'm thinking back. It's a few weeks since I watched it, and I really did enjoy it so much, and I'm having all sorts of flashbacks of things that were particularly brilliant.
Yep. I totally agree. So while Sean's putting that, while Sean is getting stuff plugged in, I would say, and Sharon,
Sorted, yeah, we're okay. We're good.
we're all sorted.
We're good.
Okay, cool.
We're good. We're good.
Just a quick thing, and to help with the Wes Anderson thing, it also stars Bob Balaban, which might help with the Wes Anderson thing. But anyway, now Sean, we're gonna talk about a film, and this is a film that puts us in a bit of a weird thing because obviously we're talking about Netflix versus cinema, what you can see at the cinema versus what you can see at home. But increasingly over the last couple of weeks, the line is blurring. Massively blurring because we're gonna have The Irishman coming out soon, which is cinema, and with Martin Scorsese saying what he said about cinema, it is obviously cinema. It's going to be released in cinemas, but I think most of us, apart from maybe Holly because you're in London, will see this thing on Netflix, and it's going to be released I think it's actually out in cinemas at the moment, but it's but most of us.
Yeah, it's coming straight. Yeah, I've already had a email saying you may want to watch this.
Yeah, The Irishman.
What?
Yeah, The
Irishman.
Yeah, The Irishman.
Is that from Netflix or is that cinema? Netflix. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, you get a lot of that.
Yeah. So
they're
you're
really plugging this one, aren't they? This one's being plugged a lot.
Yeah, and also, there's a film that I watched recently called Brittany Runs a Marathon. And it's a film that I heard about was going to be released in cinemas, and I was like, oh, well, why is that? Why can't I find it in cinemas anywhere near me? And the same weekend it was released in cinemas, seemingly, I turned on Amazon Prime and it was right there, and I was like, what the? This is supposed to be in cinemas. What's it doing at home? And now, Sean, you're talking about a film today that I was trying to find in cinemas because I really wanted to watch it. And then you come onto a WhatsApp chat and you're like, oh yeah, I saw this at home on Sky Cinema, and I'm like, what? This is supposed to be in cinemas. How could it be in cinemas and on Amazon and on Sky Cinema at the same time? What is going on?
Well, I've got to be honest. I was surprised as well, Toes, because they even showed the trailers at the cinema. They showed the trailers for this in the cinema. Yeah. I remember seeing the trailers for it, and I thought it was just a cinema release film. But I was looking at Sky Movies because I got the Sky things there and that, and I thought Little Monsters, and I thought, oh, it's probably something like Monster House or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I put it on. I thought,
well, when you said that, I thought it was animation. So I was thinking, you saw animation, Sean?
I thought,
are you mad?
It was like 2019, and then I recognised from the trailer.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my god, I saw the trailer for this at the cinema. So it was a real shocker. This one,
Little Monsters, isn't it?
It's called Little Monsters.
Yeah, Little Monsters. It's a little Lupita Nyong'o film, and I'm like, essentially, this is something that we talk about a bit. Because, Sean, this is the kind of thing that makes me think, very soon is going to be, what's the point of going to the cinema if it's going to be released in the same weekend?
I wouldn't have known it. Yeah, I wouldn't have known about it because I was going to go to the cinema and watch Midway again with John, our friend John, John.
Yeah,
and then we decided he had to have a pizza, John. And he said, oh, no, I can't. Hello, John. Yeah, and he was like,
got a new motor?
Yeah, I can't. Hello, John, got a new motor. Yeah, Happy John, they call him Happy John. He's called Happy John. That's his new nickname.
Holly,
now if we ever do a quiz, we're called Happy John's Emporium. So
Okay, Holly. If you ever make it to the Isle of Wight, we'll introduce you to John, and you will understand why he's called Happy John.
Because it's a furthest than you possibly think. But it's only, but he's great. He has got a sense of humour, really.
Isn't he?
Yeah,
really?
He is really, yeah. So anyway, Happy John. So I came back and I thought, and I was flicking through, and so I ended up watching this because I thought, well, I just about see it because it's not at the Isle of Wight cinema or anywhere like that, So,
yes, it's not in any cinemas near me.
It might be one of those. I was going to say it might be one of these films that doesn't make it.
So what's it about?
Okay. Basically, it's a zombie film. I guess you could say a zombie film. It's this real loser guy, Australian guy that's like, he loses his relationship. He's living at his sister's place, and he does some not very good stuff. So anyway, so it's like, if you want to do something good, you can take your nephew to school, So he takes his nephew to school, and he's taken to school, and then he sees the teacher, Mrs. Caroline, they call her, who's played by
Lupita
absolutely
Nyong'o.
brilliant performance. Exactly. I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say Lupita, and I was waiting for you to say a thing. Yeah.
Nyong'o.
She's brilliant. And I looked at her and I thought, oh yeah, you've been in with Black Panther. And
Black Panther and Us and 12 Years a Slave.
Oh,
yeah,
she's superb.
Yeah,
she's going back to the full circle. She's in Star Wars.
Yeah, she is class. She is a class act.
Yeah.
Really, really is a good actor. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. So anyway, he sees her and he's watching her, and he sort of thinks, whoa, and he's totally in awe of her. He's totally sort of in love with her. So he tries to
understandably, yeah.
Understandably, which you would, wouldn't you? Really? I mean, who would not? Who could not possibly? And so what it goes anyway. And then there's going to be the school trip, and somebody has to. So he says, "Oh, I can be the second adult on the school trip," And he's a bit of a sort of stoner waster sort of guy. Anyway, he goes on the trip, and they go to this like farm sort of park place.
Where's this set?
Australia.
It's set in Australia, so.
And it's right near this military complex where they've been doing experiments, and of course the experiments all go wrong. So you get lots of zombies running around, and
as you do.
And so the whole story is like, they're trying to protect these kids. Both of them are trying to protect the kids. Both. And so they're playing all games and saying, "No, it's just a game. It's just a game." And you've got some other characters like someone who runs a kids' TV show. I can't really remember his name.
Teddy McGregor.
Teddy McGregor, yeah. Oh, come on! And he sort of locks himself away and becomes really cynical and says, "They hate kids," And he's like this, sort of everybody, all the kids love him. Oh, give us a.
Is he like Mr. Tumble?
Mr. Tumble, yeah. It's very, very similar, I'd say, Mr. Tumble. But I don't expect a lot of people to know Mr. Tumble was, would they?
Oh no, I think more people than you would expect do know who Mr. Tumble is.
Oh right, okay.
Holly, do you know who Mr. Tumble is?
Yes. I'm saying hazy memories.
But yeah, right. so that's basically the film, and it's about how they oh come on, we're going to sing some songs, how they do stuff,
the zombie holocaust,
and how they find out, and they do these marvelous things with, and all the time. Miss Caroline is like being perfect, and then she's all covered in.
The poster has a nod towards The Sound of Music, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah, so that's what I mean. Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
There's a bit where obviously she's covered, and they're all like. And do you know what? Some of they say you should never act with children, but some of the children are really good in it. There's a couple that are the one that plays the nephew, and there's a couple of other that are really pretty good in this for kids. You can see there's a few of them that are mucking around. But I'll tell you what you can see is the extras are having great fun. Do you know what I mean?
What, the zombie extras?
The zombie extras are having great fun. You can just see, they're almost smiling really when they're supposed to be like, they got all this makeup on and that. But you can see them thinking, oh yeah, we'll do the... Because they're slow zombies.
Oh, okay, shuffling zombies.
So yeah, there's slow zombies, which is really, really handy because, it gives you time to... to take a few out.
You tend to get slow zombies in the comedy
ones, yeah.
You tend to get a slow zombie there.
You do, yeah. So
well, yeah, because a fast zombie with kids, that doesn't sound like a. That doesn't sound
very fun, does it?
That doesn't even sound like an enjoyable horror. I'm sorry, it just sounds like it just sounds like someone's being massively evil for no good reason. So,
yeah.
All right, cool. So what did you think?
Okay, my thoughts really were it had moments. There were moments in it which were really good, and there were moments in it which was like,
don't kill our buzz here. We're enjoying it.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I mean, shall I use my favourite? I'm going to not use that word anymore because that's not. It wasn't like really, really good.
Yeah. And
it wasn't like really, really, really bad.
Yep.
So I guess it was.
But then you don't like Shaun of the Dead, do you?
No, I think see, like we were saying about that other one. All right. Yeah, and I mean, I think Shaun of the Dead's overrated film. It's okay. There's that word.
I love it.
Okay, but I think it's overrated film.
It's okay. Then, it's nice.
It's nice film. So it's an okay film. So this again, it's an okay
Is
film.
there a character called Barbara in this, just to be honest?
That I don't know, Sharon. I've got to be honest, really, because it was just one that I watched and I didn't really get that much into it.
Okay.
I didn't relate with the character who plays Dave, you know, the guy who goes on the trip. I mean, it was okay. As time went on, as the film went on, he became a little bit more endearing. But no, the highlight was definitely Lupita. She was a class act.
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah.
So, but on the whole,
How many stars then?
3.
3 stars.
All right.
I may just be downloading it right now.
Oh right, okay, okay, yeah.
you
It'd
know-
be interesting.
This is what I want to
I'd love
see.
you guys to see it because I'd like to get your take.
Well, if
on
it's
it.
still a bargain price on Sky, I might see if I can get it.
No,
Yeah.
it's
Well, you might be.
if you have Sky, you can watch it. You can stream it from Sky. Like if you have a Sky, which I do. Well, my dad does. So yeah.
All right.
Same
okay.
thing.
So yeah, my dad does. He has Sky, so you can actually stream it on Sky Cinema without paying any extra. So but because once you said that this was on Sky, Sean, I was like, what, really? And my only problem is that if you told me this afternoon, I would have watched it by now. But
Oh wow.
but,
yeah.
but when you said it, I was like, oh. Haven't got enough time, and I can't put back the recording of the podcast. It's long enough anyway. So we're
Well,
gonna
you
leave.
can let me know. You guys can watch it
But
and
yeah, I
let me
think
know.
the 3 of us will probably try to see it.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear your.
I'll
view
try
on
to
it.
see it.
All right, cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right, now
So what are we going to put that in? Are we going to put that in cinema or category? Or are we just going to have a neutral?
I'm
Is that gonna be like
putting it in cinema this week, even though it straddles, because I think it has essentially messed up the entire concept of this show this week.
Yeah.
I'm putting it in cinema because people can still see it in cinemas, and quite frankly, we need 3 films on that side. So now we go back to our final film of the evening. We got there, guys, finally, and this is a film that Sean, you started watching in Thailand, you finished watching it in the UK, and then we said last week that we were going to let you talk about it and tell us what you thought about Bangkok Hotel. So what is it? What did you think? Fire away.
Or Bangkok Hell, to give it its name, is Nor Chor, but it is, it was on Netflix. So
Bangkok Hell.
I mean,
okay.
I didn't. Bangkok Hell, yeah. So this is a Thai movie, and it's
been out a long time.
it's been out 2002. I've just seen that. I didn't realise it was that. I didn't even see the time. I'm just looking on the computer, and it says 2002. So it's been out a while. Basically, it's a story. This guy, he has a car accident. He kills someone, and he gets put in prison. He gets put in this prison, and I mean, there's some really, these Thai prisons. I would never want to go in one, because I watched another film about why Thai prisons. I don't know.
The only thing I know about Thai prisons is Bridget Jones's second film.
Oh right, okay. But anyway,
She quite liked it.
Hotel Bangkok.
no, this is called Bangkok Hell. But
But Hotel Bangkok was the first classic Thai prison film.
right, yeah. And there's another one with
A Prayer
an
Before
English guy
Dawn.
that does Prayer Before Dawn. Yeah, I think I might have reviewed that one.
Yeah, you did. You did.
But anyway, back to this, and this is obviously, there's some really, really nasty, horrific stuff. There's bullying, there's drugs, there's not, and obviously he's mixed up in this, and he's not really that much of a criminal. So the governor of the prison says, look, if you work for us as you tell us what's going on and all that, we'll make life easy for you, give you easy life. So he becomes a bit of a grass, becomes sort of to tell them stuff. And when he's in this prison sorting all this stuff out, he meets people that are in there, that have been in there for, really, it's not, they shouldn't be in there. They've been he finds this one old guy that says, oh yeah, I got done because there were 10 things that I did. I've got 10 years for each offence. You know what I mean? When they were like, he stole 10 coins or something. He stole 10 coins.
Yeah.
And he's got and he's been in there for so long. And then there's a blind guy that's in there, and he's got these other people. And so, you get some sympathy with him, and then obviously he fesses up to some of these nasty ones because he knows they're planning an escape.
Mm-hmm.
And he sort of says, look, I won't say anything and all that, but you've got to take these people out with you. You've got to take these. There's 3 of them that he thinks don't deserve to be in there.
Yeah.
So he says, if you're going to escape, you've got to take these people, and I won't say nothing. You can just get on with it. So and that's basically the story. So he goes to prison. He does some nasty. He sees a lot of nasty things. He sees these people that he thinks don't deserve to be there. So he arranges this. So and then there's like a little plot twist at the end. So I won't give any spots. You'd have to watch that because it's quite interesting.
It turns out it was all a dream.
maybe it is a subtitled film. So if you're not into your subtitles, as it is in the Thai language. I mean, for me personally, I'm quite okay with subtitles.
Especially the Southeast Asian.
Yeah. And I like some of the Korean films. I mean, the Korean film's great.
You know how I feel about anything with Mads in it, so I will happily watch a subtitled film if I've got pretty pictures to look at.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. How about you guys? What are you like with subtitles?
Better in the cinema than home, because I'm incapable of focusing on just one thing at a time. I'm a compulsive multitasker, which means that sitting down and actually watching and focusing on the subtitles doesn't always work. In the cinema, perfect. Love them.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. I can relate to that one. I mean, I'm quite good now at watching subtitles on TV. So, and especially with Netflix, which is quite good because
they have quite a varied sort of
huge. They from lots of countries. I've watched French films, and although I do understand a little bit of French, but not enough. Yeah, en petit, messieurs et mesdames.
Je voudrais.
Je suis anglais.
My go-to French phrase is je voudrais un pain de campagne, s'il vous plaît.
Whereas mine still, even though I haven't smoked in forever, is excusez-moi que je peux acheter une cigarette, s'il vous plaît. Completely useless.
I'm the plume de ma tante, I'm afraid. That's what I go.
Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, back to this film. I mean, it got better. To start off with, I was like a bit, this is standard. I mean, that's probably I watched it in 2 bits, and I was sort of
standard prison movie.
Yeah, standard sort of, this is how it's going to be, and I can see where this is going. He's going to get out, or he's going to get killed, or something like that. And then, as I say, when it came to this bit, which was slightly different about when he meets these characters that he thinks don't deserve to be there, it became a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it was okay. I'm not going to say it's brilliant by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, the reason I finished watching it is because I think we were short of reviewing things at one time, and then it became massive. So I never got a chance. But I thought, and I'd watched a bit in Thailand. I thought if I finish it, I've got something.
It's always handy to have something in your back pocket to whip out when you need to.
Exactly. Right. Careful now, otherwise we'll be going back to the start of the program. especially in my bedroom. I mean, hey.
Oh, God.
So that's what I did say. But I didn't.
You did actually. To be fair.
Okay, Holly. I know you're the one drinking the wine, but I think it's kind of like affected everybody.
Sorry about that. It's always my fault.
Okay,
so anyway, what I'm going to do?
Yeah. How many stars? How many stars?
I mean, I'll give it a 3. Okay. So it's a 3-star film. And it's interesting at the end, as I say. It gets better. It gets better if you stick with it. It does become quite good.
All right, cool.
Persevere.
Okay, now I think it's time to let you guys out of this manner of purgatory and let you all go on and carry on with your lives. While I have to edit this thing and put it up online. But
sorry.
So all that's left is to say who has won this week. Now, what do you guys reckon? Who do you think has won?
I think it's a draw.
I think Cinema might have picked it because Le Mans got quite a high score. And I don't think many of the Netflixies got more than a 3.
No.
So
Okay.
I'm going to pump Cinema.
Holly, what do you reckon?
Cinema.
All right, and this week, it is fitting in a week in which we have a film where we cannot decide whether it's a cinema or Netflix. Sean is right. It is a dead draw.
Oh,
wow.
It is a dead draw this week. We had Last Christmas 3, Holiday in the Wild 3, Le Mans 66 4, The Politician. Eventually, Holly went up to a 4. Little Monsters 3, Bangkok Hell 3. So giving us an average at cinema of 3.33, an average on Netflix of 3.33. It's a dead heat for the first time ever in the history of Netflix and cinema. It's a monumental moment.
Yippee!
Yes.
Brilliant stuff.
Good stuff. Good stuff. I actually think that is. I think that's quite fair. That's quite fair, as I said, in a week in which we cannot decide where that film lies. But I think all that's left to say is thank you so much for joining us, Holly.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been great
Yes, thank
fun.
you, Holly.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, Holly. Yeah, brilliant.
Yes, thank you for joining us, Holly. And so Holly, if you want to say goodbye to everybody.
I'll just say goodbye, everyone. I'd love to come back again if you'll have me.
Oh, we will do. You just get out there and go watch some things, especially if it's in the cinema and we can't find it in any of our provinces, because you're
That's
in.
it. So Little Monsters, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. No, only joking. So yeah.
Okay, so hey, Holly, is there anybody you want to say hi to?
Hi, Nina. I haven't seen you in ages.
and also we'll say thank you very much to Steph for holding Holly's hand while she watched all these films. And so yeah, and all that's left to say is a goodbye from me.
Bye.
A goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
We will see. Yes, we will see you all next week when, I don't know, there'll be something in the cinema. We'll watch it. Something on Netflix. We'll watch it. See you guys then. Bye.